B&B guest that is staying at the moment went fishing today, and he has kindly brought me back 2 brown trout. And I thought that I would do this as a separate video rather than include it in one of my vlogs, because you may or may not be interested in it. But one of the reasons why I started Ask Charlie is because I was watching the Durrells. I don't know if you've watched that series, but it's amazing. And if you haven't, I highly recommend it. And Louisa Durrell was teaching 2 Italian girls how to fillet and prepare fish, because they had grown up with staff, they had no practical skills, and so she was doing like a little bit of a finishing school in her kitchen. And that is where the idea of Ask Charlie came about. That is sort of what crystallized the idea in my head, if that makes sense. So, right, I have brought you up nice and close so you can see exactly what I am doing now. These are quite large trout, and I have got my knife. It's as sharp as I can get it, and I'm going to cut from this point here to the base of the head, just level with the pectoral fins. So you've got to be terribly careful because you are using the knife towards yourself. You want to hold the fish nice and firmly and cut through. Be careful of your hand. You have to be so careful. All the way up to that point there. Then turn your fish up that way, and just at the base, the end of the head, Lola, no, you want to make your incision on a slight angle from here to those pectoral fins and not all the way through. And a nice firm grip on your fish, a little bit slippery, so you've got to be careful and cut down at an angle towards those fins, but not the whole way through. Please be careful of your hands. So just make sure that you've cut almost to the bottom. I have got a pair of kitchen scissors at the ready if I need them. Get your bowl ready, and then you want to, I'm sorry, this is pretty gory, and I haven't cut quite all the way through on that side. I'm just going to snip up there. And you want to pull the head and take all the guts out at the same time. That's why you need the bowl. And I'm just going to snip down there. I think if I was stronger in my hand, I could get it all out in one go. And then just pull all of that into your bowl. And then you have got your fish that will look like this. Pull out all of those bits, and then you can see that I've got this black layer through my fish, and you don't want that in there. You want to get that out. In fact, I need to just cut a little bit deeper there. And so I'm just going to use my thumb to get that. You can use your knife too, or a smaller knife, and scrape all that black out, which is along the spine, and that doesn't taste nice. I find this the hardest bit to do, and I will take it over to the sink in a moment and wash as much of this out as possible over the sink. With a smaller trout, it's actually easier to get it out in one go, but you can see it is coming out. It's a mucky, gory business, but so delicious, it's worth it. So I'm going to take this over to the sink now and give it a good rinse and get as much of that out as I can over the sink. Just pull that bit. So using cold water, annoyingly it's cold tap splashes, you want to give your fish a really, really good rinse, and you can get as much of that black spinal fluid out as possible. Wash the outside of your fish and get it all nice and clean. And just pull any of those other bits out as you rinse. So we are almost there. And then I'm just going to pop this in the fridge overnight, and we are going to cook it tomorrow. But there is nothing better than fresh brown trout, and that is the easiest way I find to prepare them. So I've got a platter with some ice because my fishy husband tells me that he likes to have fish on ice. It keeps them hydrated. I'm going to pop them on here and cover it with cling film, and then tomorrow I am going to show you how to cook them. That one is quite a big fish. But yeah, there they are, clean and prepared, ready to cook and enjoy. Right, let's cook this trout. I'm only going to cook one of them this evening because it's just Simon and I eating. I've got a baking tray ready and I have put the oven on. I have put it on to about 180 degrees Celsius. It's a fan oven and it does get particularly hot. Now, quite a big trout, and we are going to make a parcel. So I'm chopping the tin foil. I am also using baking paper, greaseproof paper, baking parchment. Having chatted to Mitch Tonks, who is the fish expert, he always says to use both. So that is what I am doing. I may have to use another layer, but let's just see whether this is going to go round. We're going to try. In fact, I'm not sure it is going to quite. So I'm going to put that like that, and we are ready. Weigh it down with my scissors there. Right, let's unwrap these. So these have been in the fridge overnight. I'm actually going to put the other one into the freezer now. And I'm just going to lift that up and place it on to there. Now I have got some lemons sliced, and I'm just going to pop them inside my fish, like so, but you can't see. I will flip it round. I'm gonna just rinse my hands because I need to chop up the parsley. So I'm just going to use my scissors and just roughly chop this parsley up. You can use whatever herbs you like, whatever you have. I have just got parsley here, and I actually think just keep it simple. The flavour of the trout is, you know, light and delicate, so I don't think you need to overcomplicate it, but it's personal preference. I have got some salt and some olive oil, so I'm going to add some of that as well. My lemon slices in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of sea salt in there too. I'm going to put a little bit of sea salt along the top of my fish, and I am going to put some parsley inside and over the top, and then I'm going to drizzle over some olive oil. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil inside there, and then just drizzle over some olive oil across the top of my fish. Now I'm going to make my parcel, and you'll see why I put some extra tinfoil, because this tinfoil wasn't particularly wide, and you want to make sure that your fish is nicely wrapped up. And then I'm just going to roll the edges of my foil, just basically creating a parcel, a fridge parcel. Like so. That on my tray. And then I'm going to check that the oven is up to temperature. It is. Now this is quite a large trout, and that one is even bigger, so I'm just going to put this in for 20 minutes. If I was cooking a smaller trout, a couple of pounds, it would probably only need about 15 minutes, but I'm going to put this in for 20 minutes. Let me check. It's not as sealed as I would like. I needed bigger tin foil, but I think that will do. So in this goes for about 20 minutes. I'm putting it in the middle of the Aga. I mean, it's not my Aga, it's my electric Aga. My Aga is still turned off at the moment. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be back on soon, but I'm just putting it in the middle of the oven. It's a fan oven, and so it's at 180, but that oven does run particularly hot, so it's probably more like 200. So I'm just going to leave it in there to cook and do its thing. It really is as simple as that. I have taken the trout out of the oven, and I'm just going to carefully lift it onto here. And this way, I think I can show you how to fillet it to serve. You unwrap it. Those lovely juices in the baking paper, which we will keep. We want to keep those if we possibly can, without them running out. Put that back there. And you start to see without losing the juices. Now you can see that I have got a line along the fish here, so I am going to cut carefully along that kind of natural line up the trout. Then we want to take off these fins, and that one underneath. It's a little bit hot. Let's take that out because you don't want to serve them. And then you've got this fillet along here. I'm going to carefully lift up, and I'm just going to chop through the tail because we don't want to serve that either. Let's chop through, and then I'm going to carefully lift this fillet. I've got a platter here ready. It is quite a big trout, so I'm going to try and get it off as best I can from the bones. It's coming away nicely, but I feel like I need an extra pair of hands, and I'm just going to flip that over like so. And I'm going to need to get a fish slice. 2 fish slices, and we can just lift this up and pop it on our platter there. So that is the first one done. And then I'm going to cut off this back fin. The girls are all fighting by my feet. Same old thing. And I'm just going to flip this up and off the bone like so, and then just score through there just to cut that off. And then using my fish slices, I'm going to carefully lift this on to the platter there, like that. And then you want to lift up the tail. I've actually got a little bit of meat there. And you can just lift that up and off. And if you wanted to make fish stock, you would use this. Just lift that up and away to take off my lemons. There might be a few little bones here that you can just scrape off to take my lemons off. And then that is how you do it. And it's actually, you know, it's pretty easy, but like all things, girls, stop it, stop it. I've literally got three dogs beside me. There are a few bones in here, so you can just pick them off. I'm going to cut along here. And it's also come away from the skin quite nicely too, so if you don't like to have skin, you can leave that on the platter. Let's get my other fish slice just a little. Girls, please stop it. You're really not helping. And ooh, that flipped over. You know, and any bits like that you don't want, you can just take them out. These juices that we've cooked the trout in are delicious, so you can reserve some of those for serving. And look, I've got quite a lot of skin on here. I have got my platter of trout here, which I'm just going to serve with some lemon. You can either squeeze a lemon over or put it on your plate and squeeze it yourself. A little sprinkle of some fresh parsley. So then you can just spoon out some of these juices and drizzle that over your trout. But it really is simple. I think the worst bit, sorry, these wretched dogs. Lola, stop it. the worst bit is gutting it, and you just have to not be squeamish and just go for it. But it's really delicious, and you know, if somebody gives you a whole fish, you know how to do it. And the principles, whether it's a trout, whether it's a salmon, whether it's a mackerel, are all pretty much of a muchness. So go for it. It's delicious, it's so good for you. Fresh fish caught yesterday and we are eating today. So I hope that you have found this video helpful, and yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.